Hello, welcome to Gallantry, the heroic exploit of the Nigerian military. I am your host, Godwin Amunde. The Nigerian Armed Forces is a powerhouse in Africa, boasting over 230,000 active personnel, making it one of the largest uniformed combat services on the continent. With a storied history of peacekeeping missions in Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Somalia, the Nigerian military has consistently demonstrated its commitment to regional stability. From defending the country's territorial integrity to combating terrorism and armed banditry, the military's efforts are crucial to Nigerian security. By working together and sharing information, Nigerians can support the military's effort to eradicate these threats. On today's episode, we will delve into the gallant exploit of the Nigerian military, highlighting their counter-terrorism effort, examining the strategies employed to combat terrorism and armed banditry in Nigeria, among several interesting segments specially packaged to have your eyes glued to your television set. I'll be right back. Welcome back. The Chief of Defense Staff CDS on the 28th October 2024 attended the Northern Governors Forum meeting in Kaduna. The meeting was aimed at addressing prevalent security challenges in the northern part of Nigeria. Let's take a look. The Chief of Defense Staff CDS on the 28th October 2024 attended the Northern Governor Forum meeting in Kaduna. Speaking at the event, the CDS advocates the need to embrace the whole of society approach to solving insecurity in the country. According to him, by working hand in hand, we overcome the challenges before us and pave a way for a better future for Nigeria. General Musa also said collaboration between the government, community, traditional religious leaders is essential in fighting insecurity. He further called on all to sustain the support to the AFN in order to bring a lasting peace to the country. The CDS maintained that the AFN is here to support all actions and initiatives that will be carried out by the governors, traditional and religious leaders. Speaking further, he added that the newly formed Theatre Command of Operation Fasten Yama will further strengthen the AFN resolve to bring lasting peace to the region and nation at large. He commended the 19 states northern governors for their relentless support to the armed forces. Equally, he thanked President Ahmed Bola Tinubu for his continued support, while pledging on behalf of the AFN their unalloyed loyalty to the president. The defense chief also recalled that the recently launched presidential livestock program will provide a transformative opportunity to bolster the agricultural sector, particularly in the context of livestock production. He added that the initiative not only holds the potential to embrace food security, but also to drive economic growth and create sustainable livelihood for the Nigerian citizens.
As leaders entrusted with the responsibility of governance and security, it is imperative that we approach these matters with foresight, determination, and a spirit of cooperation. For us, cooperation is very, very key and very critical to our success. By working hand in hand, we can overcome the challenges before us and pave the way for a better northern Nigeria. It was in this vein that the Armed Forces of Nigeria recently rejigged its operation in the Northwest with the launch of operationalization of Joint Task Force Operation Fasten Yama. This will further strengthen our resolve to bring lasting peace to the North and the nation at large. Relatedly is the need to holistically place a temporary ban on the sale and use of heavy-duty motorcycles and the closure of identified cattle markets so that we identify where these things can be controlled, because the ability of people to rustle animals and take them and sell them and make money keeps them going. These are used for terrorist financing and sustainment. The application of these measures across all states will be instrumental to the timely attainment of our operational objectives across the region.
Northern Governors Forum. One point I didn't hear was the establishment of the Almajiri and Out-of-School Children commissioned by the federal government, which we 100% supported, and the leader of that team had already been with us and we've discussed. I think we must include it in what we're going to discuss because the issue of out-of-school children and Almajiri is a very sore problem to all of us. If you go around the states, the towns, cities, villages, what you see around is very unpleasant. You have so many children, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, roaming about. That commission must be supported by all of us so that it succeeds. And I'm sure if it succeeds, we can now boast and say, yes, we are on the way to, let me use the word freedom. Because once you educate somebody, you are given the freedom to be himself and work for himself and work for humanity, work for the communities. Excellencies, we are ready to go. Reach out to us every time. Our loyalty to the people we work for is 100%. So you don't give loyalty 99%. General, you know, you don't give loyalty 99%, you give 100%. If you are loyal 100%, good. If you are 99%, you are not loyal. So for us who happen to wear the uniform, we know what is the meaning of loyalty. We are 100% loyal in this journey. And alhamdulillah, I have that belief. I have a very strong belief. This set of northern governors will turn around the table and make North a much better and safer place.
The chairman of the Northern Governors Forum, His Excellency the Executive Governor of Gombe State, Mohammed Inuwa Yahya, in his address thanked the armed forces of Nigeria for their unrelenting effort in combating insecurity in the region. He also showed a commune on President Bola Tinubu for establishing the Northwest Theater Command, Operation Fasten Yama, to address lingering security challenges in the region.
As we gather here today, our collective resolve is being tested by the ongoing challenges that we face. These include, but is not limited to, terrorism, banditry, kidnap for ransom, farmer-herder clash, drug abuse, the menace of Almajiri and out-of-school children, poverty, unemployment, and many others. However, our unity and commitment to the prosperity of the people remains our greatest source of strength that will enable us to overcome these challenges. While security remains a top priority for the region, we must acknowledge the recent gains made against criminals, especially the elimination of bandits and terror leaders. However, we cannot afford complacency. We must sustain these gains in order to ensure lasting peace and stability. We recently received the report of the the Coalition of Northern Groups Security Committee, and we are going to carefully study and implement their recommendations. Our engagements with security agencies and civil society groups must continue to chart a sustainable path for peace and stability in northern Nigeria. And that is why the Chief of Defense Staff is personally here today in order to address this August gathering. The recent End Bad Governance protests that took place in August serves as a wake-up call for all northern leaders. Youth restiveness is a growing concern, driven by illiteracy, poverty, and lack of economic opportunities. Our young people are calling out for change, and it is our responsibility to listen to them and act accordingly. We must scale up efforts to tackle the root causes of youth restiveness by investing in education, skills development, and job creation. Let us focus on creating pathways for the youth to channel their energy into productive ventures, thereby reducing their vulnerability to crime and other social vices.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, has appointed Major General Olufemi Olabosun Oluyode as the Acting Chief of Army Staff. Oluyode will act in the position pending the return of the indisposed Substantive Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taharit Abiodun Lagbaja. Until his appointment, Oluyode served as the 56th Commander of the Elite Infantry Corps of the Nigerian Army, based in Jaji, Kaduna. The 56-year-old Oluyode and Lagbaja were classmates and members of the 39th Regular Corps. He was commissioned a second lieutenant in 1992, effective from 1987. He rose to Major General in September 2020. Oluyode has held many commands since his commissioning as an officer. He was platoon commander and adjutant at 65 Battalion, company commander at 177 Guards Battalion, staff officer Guards Brigade, commanded Amphibious Training School. General Oluyode participated in several operations, including the Economic Community of West African States Monitoring Group (ECOMOG) mission in Liberia, Operation Harmony in Bakassi, and Operation Hardin K in the Northeast Theater of Operations, where he commanded 27 Task Force Brigade. Oluyode has earned many honors for his meritorious service in various fields of operations. This include the Corps Medal of Honor, the Grand Service Star, passing the staff course, and membership in the National Institute. Others are the Field Command Medal, the Field Command Medal of Honor, and the Field Training Medal. Oluyode also received the Converted Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award. He is married and has 3 children. Recall the adoption of one Dr. Ganiyu Nuruddin Popular along with her husband, Squadron Leader Nuruddin Abiodun Popular, and a teenage master Folarami Abdul Mugi on 27 September 2023. The trio were adopted from their home, doctor's quarters, at the National Eye Center in Kaduna. Following the adoption, troops subsequently rescued their husband on 8 March 2024. Additionally, troops' kidnapping operations resulted in the rescue of several other hostages in terrorist captivity in the North Center Theater of Operations. However, the operations were mostly futile with regard to the above adopted persons. All the same, at about 1700 hours of 30th October 2024, troops, through non-kinetic effort, secured the release of the adopted Dr. Ganiyat Popular and the above-named teenager. Though the details of their release by the terrorists remain classified due to ongoing operations, it is significant to state that their release is indicative of overtures by several terrorist leaders and their combatant to surrender to troops. It will be recalled that similar situations is ongoing in the Northeast, and it is therefore not uncommon in war situations and a welcome development. Overall, more details about the development will follow in due course. Nevertheless, these terrorists have a window of opportunity to surrender or be killed in the battlefield. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, who disclosed this development in a statement, reiterated that ending insecurity plaguing our nation requires a collective effort of everyone and not just military action. We had a conversation with Air Vice Marshal Bidemi Timothy Maquiz, the local organizing committee chairman of the forthcoming African Military Games, slated to take place on November 2024 in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. The local organizing committee chairman revealed the level of preparations and his personal experiences as a military sportsman. Let's take a look.
Sport is embedded in our military training. So from the onset, we're exposed to all manner of sporting activities because for us in the military, you cannot really divorce our training from physical, training, physical exercise. So military training it goes pari passu with physical training. So from NDA, we engage in boxing, we engage in football, basketball, cross country. That is normal. That's like what the air we are breathing. Squash, badminton, a lot of swimming. So for you to be physically fit as an officer or even a soldier, you must engage in sporting activities to maintain your physical fitness. So that is basically what I would say. And even when you graduated from Nigerian Defense Academy, commission as an officer, you must continue to engage in physical, training, and also to maintain your physical readiness, you must engage in sporting activities. So there's no way you can remove sporting activities from, military training. When I was in India, I was a boxer. Before I came to India, I used to box in Lagos. So, growing up in Lagos, you must be, you should be able to know how to defend yourself. So, I learned how to box on the street of Lagos before I went to India. And also, we're growing up at the Lagos Island, and so we have boxing teams, boxing competition. We later moved to Mushin, my parents. So all those areas, you must engage in physical, you must be strong. So we have also neighborhood boxing teams that usually at the end of the year like this, we go for boxing competition. So when I got to India, it was very easy for me to join the boxing team. And that was where I was from my year 1 to my final year. I do play football too. In fact, while I was in secondary school, I played football, and also 100 meters dash. I was involved in 100 meters. I was representing my secondary school, Batch Freeman High School, Surulere. So I've always been involved in sporting activities. I didn't know about the Nigerian Defense Academy when I got the form in Lagos. So when I got there, you were supposed to go and read a degree program. So you would think it was the usual university, but it wasn't. It was an unusual university. So that was really something that you have to quickly adjust.
Wow.
Yeah, so but the training was beneficial. I think everything ND was very, very interesting, challenging, and also very interesting. Looking back, I cannot say any negative experience, because you're always with your colleagues, your classmates, and that also it's also an avenue to encourage one another when you are faced with difficulties and challenges. So NDA was quite interesting, very, very interesting. So many people ran away, but then you just have to make up your mind what you want, what is your purpose in life, and you just have to make up your mind. As others are here, they are surviving. Why should I run away? Yeah, because of the environment. It's not a place that is for the lazy or for the indolent or for really labored or people that cannot withstand adverse or pressure. So you just have to make up your mind when you see other guys there too surviving, and you must also be able to develop your own survival strategy. You should be able to, once you can do that, you will enjoy. It is quite interesting. So you just have to make up your mind when you see other guys there too surviving, and you must also be able to, develop your own survival strategy. You should be able to, once you can do that, you will enjoy. It is quite interesting.
So after NDA, outside, what has been the experience like?
The military career, you cannot really, except God is on your side. I have to sit down, because when we left ND, some of our classmates went to war immediately in Sierra Leone, and we lost some of them. So we lost some of them, and we also knew what we were going in for. We knew that we could die. We knew that we could die. So those of us that are alive, just by the grace of God, I tell you the truth, all of us knew that we could die. That day when you are graduating and you are taking your oath, that you go to anywhere you are sent to, it's you go. And we lost people, even in Bakassi, even this counter-insurgency operations, banditry, we are still losing guys, So all those colleagues that we lost, it's just like losing part of you as well, because these are people that you had engagement with while they were alive. So you can't wipe out their memory from your mind. Particularly some of our colleagues that we lost, that they had children and wives, so we still see them. So it is what it is. Military career is like every other career too, that they have their own, hazardous experiences. But some people just have to do the job, for peace and stability, so that the country can move forward. So, it's you go. And we lost people, even in Bakassi, even this counter-insurgency operations, banditry, we are still losing guys, So all those colleagues that we lost, it's just like losing part of you as well, because these are people that you had engagement with while they were alive. So you can't wipe out their memory from your mind. Particularly some of our colleagues that we lost, that they had children and wives, so we still see them. So it is what it is. Military career is like every other career too, that they have their own, hazardous experiences. But some people just have to do the job, for peace and stability, so that the country can move forward. The Chief of Defense Staff, as I began to work with him August last year, the first thing was to send 20-man team to Germany, Düsseldorf in Germany, for the Invictus Games. And I tell you, that cost a lot of money. The cost of ticket alone was more than 100 million. But he zeroed mine, because involvement in that sporting activity and that Invictus game in 2023, it was a turning point in the life of our wounded and injured soldiers. It serves as a rehabilitation and a recovery phase for them. You know what it means to be physically deformed while protecting your fatherland, and that experience can be traumatic. However, the opportunity to represent Nigeria during that Invictus game was mind-blowing. The guys were there, and for the first time, and Nigeria is the only African nation that participated, they won a gold and a bronze. It has never happened in the history of Invictus that a first-time nation will even win a medal. That's not all. The Chief of Defence Staff sponsored the wrestling team to Azerbaijan, and 2 female wrestlers won medal. One gold, the other one won silver. And that is not enough. The Chief of Defence Staff has, this year alone, he has sent 6 wounded and injured soldiers. No, not 6, 7. 4 to the US, 3 to Canada for adaptive games, adaptive sport, activities. That is not enough. He sent some of our archers to Ivory Coast to compete in the, African Championship. That's not enough. He has sponsored many of our volleyballers for competition in Nigeria. The Chief of Defence Staff himself has sponsored the Democracy Chief of Defence Staff Basketball Championship, Democracy Day. Recently also, October 1st, he also sponsored another Chief of Defence Staff basketball tournament. And this basketball tournament, a lot of youth basketball, teams, clubs, they invited them, and he encouraged them with some token financial award, because he knows from his experience as a sportsman that one of the ways that we can have reduction in criminality is to engage youth in sports as another line of operation, a non-kinetic line of operation for his engagement with Nigerian youth. And if you are able to aggregate all those idle youth and channel their energy into engaging in one form of sporting activity or the other, criminality will reduce. So the Chief of Defence Staff is very, 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 instrumental to the successes we have experienced in the sports department, directorate at the Defence Headquarters. There's so many. The Chief of Defence Staff sponsored, the directorate to participate at the season, programs to give the sport officers in armed forces visibility required so that they can compete among their peers at the world body level. If they will be able to be on the seat when they'll be taking decisions. If you are not on the seat, they take decision on your behalf. Whatever decision is, you abide by it. But the Chief of Defence Staff every time make sure that Nigerians are on the seat. The flag of Nigeria is on the table whenever such world bodies meet. This year alone, he sponsored the Organization of Military Sport in Africa, the General Assembly that was held in Abuja. It was the Chief of Defence Staff that sponsored it. This year alone, because of our involvement in the Invictus game, he invited Prince Harry. Prince Harry is the visionary and of Invictus game. Within 1 year of our joining Invictus community, the Chief of Defence Staff, as we speak, he has completed a design for the construction of the Invictus Center right there in Abuja. This Invictus Center will be a masterpiece, a multi-sport, edifice where wounded soldiers can go, can experience rehabilitation and recovery. It's huge. It is under this Chief of Defence Staff that project will be very soon. I'm sure after this African Military Games, there will be a groundbreaking ceremony of that project. There's so many things he has done under this 1 year plus. The African Military Games, the first edition was in Nairobi, 22 years ago, and this is second edition. And after that edition, Nigeria was given the right to host the second one. But because of our engagement in internal security and other operations, we've not been able to, to take it up as an armed forces. But thankfully, since last year, we have been experiencing, stability and successes in our operation. Obviously, we are not where we want to be, but we are not where we used to be. So, and the immediate past Chief of Defense Staff accepted to host last year, and the current Chief of Defense Staff embraced it, and because he's also a sport person from NDA. He was involved in volleyball, basketball, and others. That I know, volleyball, but we were in the same battalion. He is our immediate senior, so we know him as a very strong sport person. So, and as God has given him the opportunity to be the Chief of Defense Staff, he understood what sport can do. The power inherent in, participating in sporting activities or hosting this kind of sporting this championship with international collaboration. So since last year, the Chief of Defense Staff, through his strategic guidance, we started moving towards planning, to execute a very successful African military game. And this game is not for the armed forces of Nigeria alone, it's for the whole nation. And that's why the Chief of Defense Staff approach is the whole of society approach to hosting this game. Through his strategic guidance, we have reached out to so many Nigerian sponsors to support us, in this game. Now, hosting this kind of sporting event of international stature is also beneficial to the hosting nation. You will recall that this year, Africa, there was AFCON in Ivory Coast, All Africa Games in Ghana. As recent as maybe 2 months ago, there was Paris Olympics. So if you look at all those sporting events for the year, you will see the reports from those nations, signposted that hosting such games was beneficial to the economy. It made the nation visible. The nation gained more tourists to visit them, and the nation is open to investors. We are believing God that God helping us, and we are able to do this game as planned. It will attract more, investors through direct foreign investment. Nigeria will be visible. Nigeria will be shown to the world that we are stable, that visitors can come, and there's security. And also, if you look at the leadership philosophy of the current President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, it's renewed hope, projection. It's also, and the Chief of Defense Staff, leadership philosophy is in sync with that of Mr. President. His leadership philosophy, talking about people-centric military, welfare of the troops. So, as part of this people-centrism, is organizing this kind of sporting activities. It's huge. It's a very, very huge and a massive project to take on. But the Chief of Defense Staff is also undeterred to engage on this path because it's for the good of our country. You can imagine members of armed forces, about 30 nations, converging in Abuja. They're going to stay in their hotel. They're going to be fed. There will be an opportunity for them to tour some, tourist sites in Abuja here. They're going to have one-on-one with our people. Yes. And they will go back home with that experience. And they will be disciples of what they saw in Nigeria. What you see, what you experience is greater than what you read on social media or newspaper. So it's going to be a turning point for Nigeria, military to military relationship, people to people relationship, diplomatically as well. It's going to have a positive force multiplier on the economy of Abuja and by extension Nigeria. We should expect a very transparent sporting fiesta. We should experience an atmosphere of love, conviviality, brotherliness. We should experience an atmosphere of peace. We should expect an atmosphere, of warmness and, collaboration and cooperation. By the grace of God, what we are putting together, the opening ceremony is going to be a masterpiece where Nigeria's diverse cultural heritage will be showcased. Where Nigeria's diverse people will be showcased. And also infused with some of our military operations. So that is what we are cooking. Very soon, we're going to set the table and serve the people.
Do justice to
Yes, we are still in the kitchen. We are cooking it. Very soon, we're going to serve Nigerians the meal.
On behalf of the officers, ratings, and all staff of the Nigerian Navy, as Nigeria makes meaningful progress in expanding governance and security in its maritime space and beyond, it has a dependable partner in the European Union on several bilateral and multilateral levels. Bearing in mind our statutory functions of guaranteeing safety and security within the maritime domain, the Nigerian Navy Maritime Security Operations is conducted to enhance the economic prosperity of Nigeria. It is also geared towards fostering global maritime security and collaborations for the mutual interest of all countries, especially our partners in the European Union. The Nigerian Navy Maritime Security Operations is achieved through a trinity of actions concept of maritime operations, which entails surveillance, response, and enforcement mechanisms. Surveillance involves the deployment of our maritime domain awareness infrastructure, while response is the deployment of our surface through air assets for both mobile and static patrols at sea. The Nigerian Navy Maritime Law Enforcement Mechanism involves the enforcement of necessary laws to prosecute offenders in accordance with extant national and international laws. Overall, the Nigerian Navy Air Force has led to drastic reduction in illegalities within Nigeria's maritime environment and the Gulf of Guinea in general. In recent years, the Nigerian Navy has deliberately welcomed and supported several initiatives to improve maritime security, such as the European Union Coordinated Maritime Presence Policy, which has brought ships from France, Italy, Portugal and Spain, among others, to patrol the Gulf of Guinea and visit Nigeria since 2022. We have been working with several navies of the European Union countries, especially the Group of 7 plus Friends of the Gulf of Guinea. This has been beneficial to forging respectable partnership that has resulted in tangible maritime security outcomes in the Gulf of Guinea. I must seize this opportunity to appreciate the efforts of the Friends of the Gulf of Guinea in fostering maritime security in our region. We are mindful of other layers of support from the European Union for maritime security through capacity building programs and legal reforms. I also wish to appreciate the European Union's support for a major regional legal achievement, which is the ECOWAS Supplementary Act on the conditions of transfer of persons suspected of having committed acts of piracy and their associated property and evidence. This undoubtedly enables the Nigerian Navy and other navies of the Gulf of Guinea to have a proper mechanism for contending with piracy on a multinational level. Permit me to assure you that the Nigerian Navy remains committed to promoting strategic partnership and collaboration with the European Union and other international maritime organizations and navies. We seek further collaborative engagement in maritime exercises, information sharing, fleet renewal, and training, among others, for the mutual benefit of all.
It is time to honor the bravery and sacrifices of the Nigerian military, those who have paid the supreme price to keep the state secured from internal and external aggression. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Gallantry. Thank you for joining us on this inspiring journey into the heroic exploit of the Nigerian military. Together, we can make a difference. Let's stand united in support of our brave men and women in uniform. Remember, vigilance is key. And if you see something, say something. Tune in next week for another captivating episode of Gallantry. Same time, same station. Until then, stay loyal. Stay vigilant. I'm your host, Godwin Amunde, signing off. Gallantry, honoring the bravery and sacrifices of the Nigerian Armed Forces. See you next week. Bye for now.